Before we talk about our next grammar point for today, I want to briefly review the short form that we studied in 1020. First, let's start with the verbs. Can you remember how to change a verb in mas form to short form? That's right, we want to change it to dictionary form, just the one that's listed in your vocab list or in the dictionary. How about the masen form? That's right, it changes to nai form. The mashita form? That's right, it changes to ta form. And masen deshita? It changes to nakatta form. If you want to review any of these, it might be a good idea to look back over the explanation about short forms in Chapter 8 and 9. If you want some extra practice, take a look at the verbs below and see if you can put them in each of the forms mentioned above. How about e-adjectives? That's right, for all the e-adjective conjugations, all you have to do to put it in short form is drop the des at the end. This is really simple. For most people, I think, the tricky part isn't making the short form, it's remembering how the adjective conjugation works. If you don't feel confident in your e-adjective conjugations, this may be a good time to do a little review of the explanation in Chapter 5. Try out conjugating these adjectives at the bottom if you would like practice. Last comes na adjectives and nouns, which both work the same way in short form. The janai desu and janakatta endings are straightforward because when we put them in short form, all we're doing is dropping the des. The other two endings, des and deshita, do require a change. We change des to da and deshita to datta. Again, try out the words below if you want to practice. We won't go over them one by one, but just a reminder that we can use these same rules to make the other structures we have learned short form as well. You can use this slide as a reference to see what kind of changes we make. All of them follow the rules that we reviewed on the last couple slides. Okay, so now that we remember how to use the short form, let's look back a little bit. In 1020, we talked about one way to give reasons. For example, we have this conversation here. Senpai, 明日のパーティーに来ますか? 明日は行けないんだ。そうですか。どうしてですか? あさって試験があるから勉強しなきゃいけないんだ。The structure is in this conversation we use kara to mark a reason. I will study, so I can't go to the party. Today, we will learn another way to show a reason. Takeshi, 先週のパーティーはどうだった? 友達がたくさん来たし、みんなでカラオケをしたし、楽しかったですよ。And the structure here is reason, she, situation. It's something we use when we want to give more than one reason. So the structure you saw in the example uses the short form she, and then whatever conclusion your reasons are leading to. So the feeling is, there's this reason, and there's also this reason, and so, blah, 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 blah. We use this to list multiple reasons for something. And also, we can imply that there are even more reasons that we aren't putting on the list. You can think of it as sort of a tari-tari or ya of reasons. We are listing a couple of examples and leaving the rest unsaid. This structure can also be helpful when speaking as a way to make an excuse or give our conclusion without actually coming right out and stating our conclusion. We can kind of trail off if we want to. Let's look at a couple of examples. We might say this first sentence. テキサスは綺麗だし、バーベキューが美味しいし、いいところですよ。So we are listing off reasons why Texas is good. It's pretty, and it has good barbecue. Maybe there are some other reasons we didn't mention, but these are some examples. It's pretty, the barbecue is good, therefore, Texas is good. How about the next one? 金曜日だったし、友達が遊びに来たし、昨日は全然勉強しなかったんです。We are giving some reasons why we didn't want to study. Oh, I'm sorry. 金曜日だったし、友達が遊びに来たし、昨日は全然勉強したくなかったです。Sorry about that. We are giving reasons why we didn't want to study. Remember, that's what this takunakatta is, what you didn't want to do. It's Friday, my friend came over, so that's why I didn't want to study. A reminder that when you do this with nouns and not adjectives, we need to include the da as part of the present tense short form. So we say, 好きだし and 学生だし. One more FYI. Although this won't be on the test, we can use this structure even with just one she, giving only one reason. So we can say, カレーは辛いし、あんまり好きじゃないです。It's spicy, so I don't like it. The implication is that you maybe don't like it for other reasons too. Maybe you don't like the texture either, but that's just one example of what you don't like about it. Alright, now you are ready to practice giving some reasons using this structure.